This is the first worksheet uh, for this course, and usually in the worksheet we work with the problems that we are working with numbers and the math. So with this worksheet we have units and temperature scales. So before we start the worksheet, always remember to write your name and your student ID here. Without the name and student ID, your score is 0. Okay, so the first question is, what is the SI base unit for distance or length? We discussed this in the lecture notes, that we learned about SI base units and SI derived units. So for length or distance, SI unit is meter. And what factor of 10 is associated with the prefix kilo? We learned about kilo, we learned about prefixes, kilo, mega, tera, giga, and also prefixes which are below 0, small prefixes like micro, milli. So kilo is 10 to the 3. The next question, what is the formula that converts the Celsius to degrees Fahrenheit? So we talked about this, and the way I remember it is 9 to 5 jobs. So 9/5 times degrees Celsius plus what is the freezing point of water in Fahrenheit? It's 32. It's 0 degrees in Celsius times this makes this 0, so we should add this 32 to make it 32 for freezing point of water. So this is the formula to convert Fahrenheit to Celsius. Okay. So the first practice problem, we have to list these 3 numbers in order from smallest to the largest. So when we want to see which one is larger and which one is smaller, first we have to look at the magnitude of 10. So this one is 10 to the 8, so that should be the smallest one. So 2.3 times 10 to negative 8 is the smallest. Then we have negative 5 and negative 2, so this one is smaller, so 7.5 times 10 to negative 5, and that is smaller than the last one, 9.0 times 10 to negative 2. If we had 2 numbers with the same magnitude, like both of them were 10 to negative 2, then we have to look at this number, see which one is smaller. Okay, so next question is to convert 3.3 times 10 to 2 nanometer to meters. Okay, so first we have to find the equality. How many nanometer is equal to how many meter? Okay, so with the method I mentioned in the lecture notes, always 1 goes to the prefix and the definition of the prefix. So what is nano? Nano is 10 to negative 9, goes with the base unit. Okay, so 1 nanometer is 10 to negative 9 meter. Okay, so when you have an equality and you want to convert it, you should use a conversion factor. From this equality we can get 2 conversion factors. So since these 2 are equal, so if you divide them, that makes it 1, right? So we can have this conversion factor. In a conversion factor, the numerator and the denominator should be equal, and these 2 are equal, so that's a conversion factor. Or let me erase this. Or we can say 10 to negative 9 meter over 1 nanometer. Both of them are a conversion factor from this equality. Now we choose which one to use. We always start with the given information in the question. So 3.3 times 10 to 2 nanometer, and so we multiply that by one of these 2 conversion factor. We have nanometer in here, and we want to get rid of that, we want to cancel it, so we have to put that in the bottom, so we can cancel it. So this, if we have these two conversion factor, this one is the one that we have to use because we have nanometer here. So 1 nanometer is 10 to negative 9 meter. So we can get rid of nanometer with nanometer, and the answer is we have 10 to 2 and 10 to negative 9. So we can subtract them, and that makes it 10 to negative 7. And we have this, so 3.3 times 10 to negative 7 meter. Okay. Okay. So the next question is to convert 551 Fahrenheit to Celsius. So we had this formula, 9 to 5 degrees Celsius plus 32. We have to solve it for Celsius. So minus 32 minus 32, that makes it Fahrenheit minus, let me write it in red. So Fahrenheit minus 32 equal 9 over 5 times degrees Celsius. So we multiply this by 5 over 9 to cancel this, and this whole thing should be multiplied to 9 over 5, 5 over 9, excuse me. So these two will be cancelled, and therefore we have, let's write it with C, with red. So degrees Celsius is 5 over 9 times, instead of degrees Fahrenheit, I write the number. So 451 minus 32, and that will be, I have to check my calculator, 232.8 degrees Celsius. Okay, that's the final answer. Okay, the last question, we have the same conversion, well, sort of. We have the temperature in Kelvin, and we want it in Fahrenheit. Okay, so first we have to convert Kelvin to Celsius. So we know that Kelvin is Celsius plus 273.15. You have to memorize this. And to double check it, water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius and at 273.15 degrees, 273.15 Kelvin. Yeah. So that, if you put 0 here, it's 273. So it's right. Okay. So you want to solve this for Celsius. Therefore, degrees Celsius is Kelvin minus 273.15. So degrees Celsius, now we have our temperature in Kelvin. It's 77.36 minus 273.15, and that's negative 195.79 degrees Celsius. And we know Fahrenheit is 9 over 5 degrees Celsius plus 32. So it's 9 over 5 times negative 195.79 degrees Celsius plus 32. And that will be negative 384.4 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's the final answer. Okay, so this is the end of the first worksheet.